video games are good. The ideas are idea 1, 2, and 3. My first idea supports the fact that violent video games make you smarter. The more violent, the better. The second idea supports the fact that video games may have health and social benefits. The third idea says that violent video games are good for you in general. By Ian Thompson, 27th November 2013, The Register. Meanwhile, those who decreased the amount of time they spent playing violent video games saw a meta-study carried out by the American Psychological Association has claimed that playing computer games has many positive effects on children, and in some cases, the more violent the game, the more beneficial the effect. The research published in the latest issue of American Psychologist found that modern video games are much more socially oriented, thanks to the growth on massive online gaming environments, and that certain types of games can help kids learn problem-solving skills and creativity. Important research has already been conducted for decades on the negative effects of gaming, including addiction, depression, and aggression. And we are certainly not suggesting that this should be ignored, said lead author Isabella Granite, PhD, of Radboud University, Nijmegen, in the Netherlands. However, to understand the impact of video games on children and adolescents' development, a more balanced perspective is needed. The biggest surprise in the paper was that randomized double-blind trials with young games found that a few rounds of a first-person shooter show that they develop faster reaction times, higher spatial resolutions, and enhanced mental rotation facilities, meaning the ability to visualize shapes from different angles. American Psychological Association, playing video games, including violent shooter games, may boost children's learning, health, and social skills, according to a review of research on the positive effects of video gameplay to be published by the American Psychological Association. The study comes out as debate among psychologists and other health professionals regarding the effects of violent media on youth. An APA task force is conducting a comprehensive review of research on violence in video games, and an interactive media will release its findings in 2014. The article will be published in APA's flagship journal, American Psychologist. Texas A&M International University. Playing violent video games may be good for you. That's the conclusion from a study published in Psychiatric Quarterly, Volume 78, by a Texas A&M International University assistant professor that found that playing violent video games has positive effects, and there is little evidence that links playing violent games with aggression. Dr. Christopher J. Ferguson, TAMIU, assistant professor of psychology, analyzed 24 published studies of violent video game effects that either examined aggressive consequences or improvements in visual spatial cognition. Violent game playing may be associated with some positive effects, but little evidence exists to link violent game playing with aggression, Dr. Ferguson said. And that's it.
4 seconds.
Okay.
5 seconds. Questions?
Nice job, Hope.
Thanks.
Yes.
You were writing questions, right, Max?
I have these already, so.
Okay.
Okay, why do you say video games are bad? There's just as many researchers that believe that say video games are good, right?
I said that violent video games are good in the speech.
Oh, sorry. I believe that violent video games are bad. Why do you say violent video games are bad and just as no? Why do you say violent video games are good? Good. Games are good. There's just as many researchers that say violent video games are bad, right?
Exactly, but you need a balanced perspective. You gotta weigh the good stuff and the bad stuff.
Well, is there more good stuff or bad stuff, or is there exactly equal?
They're exactly equal.
Well, okay. Why should people believe that my video games are good? Or
Well, it says it can have health, social, and learning benefits, and it can make you, and video games can make you smarter. It can improve creativity, it can improve visual spatial cognition, and it can make you have the ability to visualize shapes from different angles.
but this isn't violent video games. It's just in general video games.
Yes, this is violent video games.
But how does it boost sensitivity? I mean, not sensitivity. I mean, health.
How does it boost health? It says it just says it boosts health.
But there's no evidence in the text that says that.
The American Psychological Association did lots of research and figured that out.
Okay, then why should why should you or any